My wife said cheating was normal, but when her sister found out the truth, her whole family fell apart. Now I'm married to her sister, and she cries every time she sees what she threw away. Joseph Miller, I said into the mic, smiling at the crowd. CEO of Innotech. Thank you for believing in our vision. The applause was warm, familiar, and for a moment, life felt perfect. My company was growing fast, my wife was waiting for me at home, and everything seemed stable. When the event ended, my friend and business partner, Mike, clapped me on the back. Man, you're killing it. You've got the dream life, money, company, and Lena. I laughed. Yeah, I guess I do. You guess, he teased. Come on, Joe, half the guys here would trade lives with you in a second. I smiled but didn't answer. I couldn't explain why the word perfect had started to feel heavy lately. When I got home that night, Lena was sitting on the couch, scrolling through her phone. Her hair was tied up messily, her legs tucked under a blanket. She looked beautiful, but distant. You're home early, she said without looking up. Event ended faster than I thought. I dropped my keys. You didn't come. You promised. She shrugged. I had plans with the girls. You know that. I know, I said quietly. You've had a lot of girls' nights lately. She finally looked at me, her eyes sharp. Are you keeping track now? No, I said quickly, forcing a smile. Just, we haven't spent much time together. Joe, she sighed, standing up. You're always busy with work. Don't make me feel guilty for having a life. I'm not, I said, though my chest tightened. I just miss you. She softened for a second, then brushed past me toward the bedroom. You're sweet, she said, almost absently. But you worry too much. The next few weeks blurred together. Meetings, deadlines, dinners without her. Sometimes she'd come home late smelling like perfume that wasn't hers, or wearing a new dress I hadn't seen before. Another office party? I asked one evening as she got ready. Yeah, she said, applying lipstick in the mirror. It's a big project celebration. Anyone I know? Just coworkers. She paused, meeting my eyes through the mirror. You don't trust me, do you? I do, I lied. She smiled faintly. Good. Because trust is sexy, Joe. I laughed, though my throat felt dry. You make it sound like I'm jealous. She turned, adjusting her earrings. You are. You just don't want to admit it. Her phone buzzed. She picked it up, typed quickly, and slipped it into her purse. Who was that? I asked. Work stuff. You've been getting a lot of work stuff lately. She gave me a look, half amusement, half warning. You're too serious. Everyone flirts a little. Cheating's normal, it's just fun, not love. I blinked. You're joking, right? She laughed. Relax, Joe. You're acting like I confessed to murder. Cheating is normal? It's a game, she said, still smiling. You wouldn't understand. Maybe I don't want to, I muttered. She rolled her eyes. You're too sensitive. That's why I love you, you're like this innocent chicken who thinks love means rules. That's what I thought marriage meant. She leaned in, kissed my cheek, and whispered, then maybe you married the wrong person. The words hit harder than I expected. She left soon after, heels clicking against the floor, perfume trailing behind her like smoke. I sat in silence for a long time. The city lights flickered outside the window, mocking me with their steady glow. I poured a drink, scrolled through old photos of us, our honeymoon, her laugh, her eyes when she said she'd never hurt me. Hours passed. I dozed off on the couch until the buzz of her phone jolted me awake. It had fallen out of her purse. The screen lit up. A message. From a name I didn't recognize. Can't wait to see you tonight again, face blowing a kiss. My hands froze. The room went silent except for my heartbeat. I stared at the message, reading it again and again until the words blurred. When I finally looked up, our wedding photo hung above the fireplace, her smile wide, her hand gripping mine. I whispered, the perfect lie, and set her phone face down on the table. Then I sat there in the dark, pretending I hadn't just seen everything I needed to know. "Lena, where are you going tonight?" I asked as she stood by the mirror, sliding on her earrings. "Marketing dinner," she said casually. "Big project celebration. You remember Ethan? He'll be there." I tried to sound normal. "Ethan, the tall guy with the watch you said costs more than our car?" She laughed. "Yeah, that one. Don't be jealous, Joe. It's work." "I'm not jealous," I lied. "I just don't remember you ever liking work dinners before." She sprayed perfume, something stronger, unfamiliar. "People change." "Right," I muttered, watching her check her reflection one last time. "People do." She kissed my cheek, light and quick. "Don't wait up." The door closed, and silence filled the apartment. My chest felt tight. I stared at her empty wine glass on the table, lipstick still fresh on the rim. I grabbed my phone, hesitated, then texted Mike. "Me, bro, what's the name of that restaurant Lena mentioned last week?" Mike, "No idea, man." "You okay?" Me, "Yeah. Just checking." I wasn't okay. Half an hour later, I was behind the wheel, following the faint blue dot on my phone's GPS. She'd shared her location with me months ago, for safety, but tonight it felt like a curse. Traffic blurred. My hands were shaking. Every turn felt like betrayal waiting to unfold. When I finally parked near the hotel, my pulse was pounding so hard I could hear it. The sign read the Silver Crown, gold letters glowing in the night. I spotted her car in the lot. My stomach dropped. Through the lobby window, I saw her, laughing. And beside her stood Ethan, the man with the expensive watch. He leaned close. She touched his arm. Their hug lasted too long. Too close. Too real. My fingers gripped the steering wheel until my knuckles went white. I wanted to burst through the glass, scream, do something, but instead, I took out my phone and snapped a photo. Then another. And another. Every click echoed in my chest like a gunshot. They disappeared into the elevator together. For a while, I sat there in silence, staring at the closed doors. My reflection in the rearview mirror looked like a stranger, eyes hollow, mouth dry, soul cracking in half. By the time I drove home, my mind was numb. I sat at my desk, opened my laptop, and started digging. Her messages were synced to our shared cloud backup, something she'd forgotten. I clicked through them with trembling fingers. "Ethan, you looked amazing tonight." "Lena, you make me feel alive again." "Ethan, when can I see you alone?" "Lena, tomorrow. Same place." My breath hitched. My throat felt raw. I copied everything, screenshots, timestamps, images. I even found a short video they'd sent each other, her laughing, whispering, "Don't show this to anyone." I stared at the screen until the word swam. Mike called. "You still up?" "Yeah," I said hoarsely. "You sound off, man." "What's wrong?" "Nothing. Just tired." "You sure? You've been weird lately." "Yeah. Just thinking." "Alright. Try to sleep, bro." "I'll try." When the call ended, I dropped the phone on the desk. My chest ached, but I couldn't cry. It felt like the tears were stuck somewhere deep, waiting for permission to fall. Hours passed. I kept scrolling through messages, memorizing every cruel line. Then the door unlocked. I shut the laptop quickly. My heartbeat spiked. "Hey, you're still awake?" Lena said, stepping in. She looked flushed, like she'd been dancing. Her smile was soft, her voice sweet. "I missed you." I forced a smile that didn't reach my eyes. "You did?" "Of course." She leaned down, kissed my cheek. "You should have come with me." "Yeah," I said quietly. "Maybe next time." She walked past me toward the bedroom, humming. I stared at her back, the way her hair moved as she disappeared down the hall. My hands were still trembling, but I clenched them into fists, pressing down the urge to explode. "Good night, Lena," I said under my breath. "Night, baby," she called from the room. I looked at my laptop, her messages still glowing faintly on the screen, and whispered, "Good night, liar." Then I closed it slowly, pretending I was still the same husband she thought she could fool. But deep down, I knew the truth had already changed everything. "Sophie, I need to talk to you," I said, my voice trembling as I stood in her doorway. She frowned. "About what? You sound weird." "About Lena," I replied. "I think she's cheating." Her expression shifted instantly. "What? That's not funny, Joseph." "I'm not joking," I said, pulling my phone from my pocket. My fingers shook as I scrolled through the photos. "Look at this." She hesitated. "No, you're just misunderstanding something." She wouldn't. I turned the screen toward her. A picture of Lena and Ethan outside the hotel glowed under the light. Her hand was on his chest. Sophie's breath hitched. "Oh my God." "She said it was a marketing dinner," I said bitterly. "Does that look like business to you?" Sophie took the phone from me, staring in disbelief. "She can't be that stupid," she whispered. "Lena wouldn't risk everything." "She already has," I said. I followed her. I saw them together. Her eyes filled with tears. "Please, don't tell our parents yet. Let me talk to her first." "I don't think talking will fix this, Sophie." "Please," she begged, clutching my wrist. "Mom will fall apart. Dad will lose it. Just, give me a day." I sighed, rubbing my face. "Fine. One day. But if she lies again, I'm done protecting her." "I'll handle it," she said, her voice breaking. "I'll make her tell you the truth." When I got home that evening, Lena was waiting by the door. Her arms were crossed, her eyes sharp. "So," she said coldly, "you told Sophie?" My stomach dropped. She deserved to know. "You went behind my back," she shouted. "You're pathetic, Joseph. You can't even keep your wife without spying." I clenched my fists. "Don't turn this around on me, Lena. I'm not the one sneaking into hotels." She scoffed. "You think you've got it all figured out? You don't know anything." "I know enough," I said quietly. "I know you've been lying." She laughed bitterly. "Wow. So this is what you've become, some jealous detective?" "Call it whatever you want," I said. "But you're not fooling anyone anymore." The sound of the front door opening made us both pause. Mr. and Mrs. Carter walked in, concern etched across their faces. "What's going on here?" Mrs. Carter asked. "Ask your daughter," I muttered. Lena shot me a glare. "He's accusing me of cheating, Mom. Because he saw me having dinner with a coworker." "That's not what I saw," I said. Mr. Carter frowned. "Joseph, are you serious? Do you have any idea how ridiculous that sounds?" "I have photos," I said. "You can see them yourself." Mrs. Carter raised her hands. "Enough. You two are married. You're supposed to trust each other." I looked at her in disbelief. "You think I want to believe this? I've been losing sleep, hoping I'm wrong." Lena rolled her eyes. "He's obsessed. He's been tracking me like some stalker." "That's not true." I snapped. "I followed you once, Lena. Once. Because you kept lying." "Joseph," Mr. Carter said sternly, "you're overreacting. You've always been intense. Maybe you're misreading things." I felt something break inside me. "So that's it? You all think I'm crazy?" Silence. None of them answered. Lena folded her arms smugly, as if victory had already been handed to her. "I can't believe this," I said softly. "You're defending her. You've all chosen to ignore the truth." Mrs. Carter sighed. "You're upset, dear. Take some time apart. This tension isn't good for either of you." "I'm not the problem," I muttered. "Enough," Lena said, her tone sharp. "You've embarrassed me enough already." I stared at her. "You embarrassed yourself." Her father stepped forward. "Joseph, I think you should leave before this gets worse." I grabbed my jacket, my heart pounding in my ears. Fine, I said. But don't say I didn't warn you. As I reached the door, Sophie appeared in the hallway, her eyes red. Wait, she whispered. I turned to her, desperate for a single ally. I believe you, she murmured, voice trembling. She's been changing, and I hate it too. Her words hit me like a fragile truth I'd been waiting for all along. For the first time that night, I didn't feel completely insane, just heartbreakingly alone. I know everything, I said, my voice barely steady as I stood in the doorway. Lena didn't even look up from her phone. What's that supposed to mean? I placed the folder on the table, photos, screenshots, messages. It means I'm done pretending. I saw you with Ethan. I have proof. She stared for a moment, then smirked. You've been busy. Busy trying to save what's left of this marriage, I shot back. I wanted to believe you, Lena. But you made that impossible. She laughed, a cold, sharp sound that made my stomach twist. So what? You think marriage means I owe you my loyalty? Grow up, Joseph. This is life. People have fun. I blinked, stunned. Fun? You call betraying me fun? You're acting like I killed someone, she said. It's not that deep. Not that deep? I felt my chest tighten. I gave you everything. My time, my trust, my love. Exactly, she interrupted. You gave too much. You smothered me. Maybe that's why I needed something else. Her words cut through me like glass. You could have talked to me. You didn't have to destroy everything. She rolled her eyes. You make it sound dramatic. It was just a mistake that happened more than once. Don't pretend you're perfect either. I never claimed to be perfect, I said quietly. But I was loyal. Congratulations, she said, her tone dripping with sarcasm. Do you want a medal? Something inside me cracked. I stepped back, my hands trembling. You don't even feel sorry. For what? She asked flatly. For wanting something real? Something exciting? I stared at her, disbelief turning into exhaustion. You're not the person I married. She smiled faintly. Maybe you just never really knew me. Silence filled the room, heavy and suffocating. Then I said the only thing left to say. I'm leaving. She laughed again, softer this time, almost amused. You'll come back. You're too weak to live without me. I swallowed hard. We'll see. I grabbed a suitcase from the closet, threw in what I could, clothes, a few photos, my laptop. The house felt colder with every step. When I reached the door, I looked back once, hoping she'd stop me. She didn't. Outside, the air hit me like a slap. I drove aimlessly until the city lights blurred into streaks of color. Eventually, I found a small apartment downtown, cheap, quiet, anonymous. The first few nights, I didn't sleep. Every sound in the building made me flinch. I'd wake up expecting to hear her voice, then remember she wasn't there, and never would be again. Days bled into weeks. Work emails piled up. I ignored them. Food lost its taste. Music felt hollow. The silence became unbearable. Then, one evening, a knock came at the door. Joseph? Sophie's voice. I opened it. She stood there holding a paper bag. I brought dinner. You probably haven't eaten. I tried to smile. You didn't have to. I wanted to, she said softly. You look awful, by the way. I let out a weak laugh. Yeah, I feel it. She set the food down on the counter and sat across from me. She's been impossible, she said. Mom's pretending nothing happened. Dad won't talk about it. It's like everyone's walking on eggshells. I figured, I muttered. That's her world, appearances over truth. Sophie sighed. She doesn't even look guilty. It's like she's proud. She probably is, I said. She always liked control. Her eyes softened. I'm sorry, Joseph. You didn't deserve this. Neither did you, I said quietly. We sat in silence, the air heavy with shared grief. For the first time in weeks, I didn't feel completely alone. The pain was still there, sharp, raw, but at least someone else finally understood it. Months passed, and life twisted in ways I never saw coming. "Joseph, we just landed the contract." Mike shouted over the phone. "We're going to triple our valuation this quarter." I stared at my laptop, the press article glowing on the screen. Miller Tech revolutionizes data security. My name was everywhere. The interviews, the recognition, everything I used to dream about. "That's great, Mike," I said. "You handled the negotiations perfectly." He laughed. "You sound half dead, man. You should be celebrating." "I will," I lied. "Later." I hung up and leaned back, staring at the skyline outside my apartment window. Success felt hollow now, loud but empty. I had everything I once wanted, yet the silence that followed every victory reminded me what I'd lost. A week later, Sophie called. Her voice was quieter than usual. "Can I come by?" "Yeah," I said. "You don't even have to ask anymore." When she arrived, she didn't speak right away. She sat down, hands wrapped around a coffee mug, eyes heavy. "She's not doing well," Sophie said finally. My stomach tightened. "Lena?" She nodded. "Ethan's gone. Apparently, he used her to climb up at work. Got promoted, then dumped her." I exhaled slowly. "Figures." "She lost her job too," Sophie continued. "HR found out about their relationship. She's been staying with mom and dad, but she's spiraling." I didn't say anything for a long time. "You're not happy about it?" she asked quietly. "No," I said. "I thought I'd be. But I'm not. I just feel like things balance themselves out." Sophie's eyes softened. "Karma?" "Maybe," I said. "Karma works slower than revenge, but it hits harder." She smiled faintly. "That sounds like something you'd say." "I guess pain teaches poetry," I murmured. We sat there for a while, watching the city lights flicker. Then Sophie said, "You deserve peace, Joseph. You've carried too much for too long." "I'm trying," I admitted. Some days I even forget about her. Other days, it all floods back. "That's normal," she said. "Healing isn't a straight line." "Yeah." I paused. "And you? How are you holding up?" She looked down. "Honestly? I hate what she did, to you, to herself, to all of us. I keep wondering when she became someone I don't recognize." "She made her choices," I said. "We all live with what we do." She nodded slowly. "You sound like me now." I smiled. "You've been rubbing off on me." She laughed softly. "That's a first. Usually it's the other way around." We started meeting more often after that. Dinner turned into coffee, coffee turned into late-night walks through the quiet streets. She'd tell me about her work, her friends, how she was trying to rebuild some sense of normalcy. I'd listen, grateful for the calm she brought into my chaos. One night, after too many glasses of wine, she said, "You know, I used to envy Lena." "For what?" I asked. "For how sure of herself she always seemed. How she could walk into a room and own it. But now I see it wasn't confidence, it was fear disguised as pride." "She fooled a lot of people," I said softly. "Including herself," Sophie added. I looked at her, really looked. There was no pretense, no mask, just warmth, sincerity, and a quiet strength that drew me in. "You're nothing like her," I said. She blushed, trying to hide behind her glass. "Don't say that. It's true." For a moment, the air between us changed, heavy, uncertain. "Joseph," she whispered, setting the glass down, "you shouldn't." "I know," I said quickly. "She's still your sister." Sophie looked away. "She made her choices, Joe. We all live with what we do." Her words echoed, sharp and gentle at once. I wanted to believe them, to let go of the guilt pressing against my chest. We didn't say anything else that night. She leaned her head on my shoulder, and I let the quiet speak for us. Outside, the city hummed with distant life, but in that small apartment, time slowed, two broken souls breathing in the same rhythm, caught between what was lost and what might still be possible. The knock came just as I was finishing a late call with Mike. It was sharp, desperate, 3 quick hits that didn't sound like a delivery. "Hold on," I muttered, walking toward the door. When I opened it, Lena stood there. Her mascara was smudged, her hair tangled, her eyes red and swollen. "Joe," she whispered. "Please, can we talk?" For a moment, I just stared. The woman in front of me wasn't the one who'd laughed at me months ago, calling me weak. This one was trembling, clutching her purse like it was the last thing keeping her upright. I stepped aside without a word. She walked in, glancing around like she didn't recognize the place. "You redecorated," she said softly. "It looks different." "Things change," I replied. She sat down on the couch, twisting her fingers together. The silence stretched between us until she finally broke it. "I made a mistake," she said. "I was stupid. I thought I was in control, but I wasn't. Ethan used me. He never cared." I leaned against the counter, crossing my arms. "I know." Her eyes flicked up to mine. "You knew?" "I knew everything, Lena. From the beginning." Her lips trembled. "Then why didn't you stop me? Why didn't you fight for us?" "I did," I said quietly. "But you were already gone. You just hadn't left yet." She shook her head, tears falling freely now. "No, I was angry. I wanted attention. I thought you didn't care anymore." "I cared too much," I said. "That's the difference." She looked at me like she was seeing me for the first time. "Joe, please. I miss you. I miss us." There it was, the plea I'd once dreamed of hearing. But now, it sounded hollow. I remembered the nights I stared at the ceiling, wondering why I wasn't enough. The mornings I forced a smile while she texted someone else. "You miss what I gave you," I said. "Not me." "That's not true," she cried. "I loved you. I still do." I let out a long breath. "Then why did you throw it away?" She covered her face with her hands. "I don't know. I thought life was supposed to be exciting. I thought marriage was holding me back. Everyone said people cheat, it's normal, harmless. But it wasn't harmless, was it?" "No," I said. "It broke everything." She reached out, voice shaking. "Can you forgive me?" I stared at her hand, remembering the warmth it used to bring. Now, it felt foreign. "Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting," I said. She blinked, confused. "So you can forgive me?" "I can," I said slowly. "But I won't forget what you made me feel. The humiliation. The lies. The silence." She swallowed hard. "I just want another chance. And I just want peace," I said. Her eyes darted around the room again, and then froze. On my desk, half buried under papers, was a framed photo of Sophie and me at a charity event. She'd helped organize it a few weeks ago, and someone had snapped the picture of us laughing. Lena's entire body stiffened. "What is that?" "A photo," I said flatly. "Of her?" she hissed. "She's been there for me," I said. Her voice rose. "You're with her? My sister?" "No," I said quietly. "Not yet." Her face twisted in fury. "You're disgusting. You think this makes you better than me?" "I don't think anything," I said calmly. "I just stopped pretending to feel sorry for you." She stood up so fast the chair scraped against the floor. "You're heartless, Joseph. You always were." "No," I said, meeting her eyes. "You just never cared enough to see my heart at all." For a moment, I thought she might slap me. But instead, she grabbed her purse and stumbled toward the door. "You'll regret this," she spat. "You'll realize what you lost." "I already did," I said. "A long time ago." The door slammed, echoing through the apartment. I stood there, staring at it, waiting for the familiar ache to rise, the guilt, the sorrow, the anger. But none of it came. Instead, there was quiet. Real, honest quiet. I walked back to the desk, picked up the photo of Sophie and me, and traced the edge of the frame with my thumb. Heartless, I whispered to myself, almost laughing. Maybe that's what peace feels like. Outside, the city buzzed like nothing had happened, but something inside me had shifted. I wasn't broken anymore. I wasn't waiting for her apology or her pain to validate mine. Her fall wasn't my revenge, it was my release. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't angry. I wasn't bitter. I was free. A year passed, and for the first time, I wasn't living in pain, I was living in peace. The world had moved on, and so had I, or at least, I was learning to. The morning sun poured into the small chapel, soft and golden. Sophie stood beside me, wearing a simple white dress. No crowd, no music, just a few close friends and the quiet hum of the city outside. When the officiant asked, "Do you take this woman?" my voice didn't shake. "I do." Sophie smiled, eyes glistening. "I do," she whispered. When it was over, I looked at her hand in mine, steady, warm, honest. No secrets, no lies. Just us. Later, at the little reception we held on the rooftop of my apartment building, Mike clapped me on the shoulder. "Never thought I'd see you do this again." "Neither did I said. He grinned. "You deserve it, man. You earned this." I nodded, glancing at Sophie across the table as she laughed with a friend. "Yeah," I said quietly. "I think I finally did." But the peace didn't come without its scars. Lena wasn't there, of course. Her parents weren't either. They'd made their choice months ago. When Sophie first told them about us, Mrs. Carter had cried, calling her a traitor. Mr. Carter's voice had boomed through the phone. "You've embarrassed this family." "I'm not embarrassed," Sophie had said. "I'm free." That freedom cost her everything. Her parents stopped speaking to her, her old friends turned distant, and yet she never wavered. A few months before the wedding, Lena had shown up again. She looked worse than before, thinner, exhausted, broken in a way no words could hide. "Why are you doing this?" she asked Sophie. "You're marrying him." "My husband?" Sophie didn't flinch. "You destroyed yourself, Lena. Don't blame us." "I lost everything," Lena cried. "My job, my family, my future." "You didn't lose them," Sophie said quietly. "You threw them away." I stood there in silence, listening to the echo of her words. There was no shouting, no revenge, just truth, bare and painful. After Lena stormed out that night, Sophie turned to me. "Do you regret it?" "No," I said. "Do you?" "Not even a little," she replied. Now, standing beside her a year later, I still remembered that moment. The way she didn't hesitate to defend what we had, even when the world turned against her. Our life together was quiet and grounded. We cooked breakfast together, took walks after work, and shared long talks on the balcony late into the night. There was no pretending, no competition, just two people trying to heal. One evening, I came home from the office to find her sitting by the window, sketching. "You look tired," she said. "Long day," I admitted, setting my laptop down. "Investors still want to expand, but I think I'm done chasing everything." She looked up, smiling softly. "You don't need to chase anymore. You've arrived." "Maybe," I said. "Sometimes I still think about it, though." "Her?" she asked. "Not her," I said. "Just, the moment I found out. That message. It's like a scar I keep touching, even when it doesn't hurt anymore." Sophie set the sketchbook aside and took my hand. "You can't heal if you keep reopening the wound." I looked at her, at the calm in her eyes. "I know," I said. "I just wish forgetting was as easy as forgiving." She leaned her head on my shoulder. "It's not about forgetting. It's about learning to live without the weight." I closed my eyes and let her words sink in. For the first time in years, I wasn't drowning in anger, I was learning to breathe again. Outside, the city lights flickered against the night sky, and I realized that maybe life wasn't about erasing the past, but building something stronger on top of it. I kissed Sophie's forehead and whispered, "Thank you." She smiled. "For what?" "For believing in what I couldn't see," I said. "For seeing something still worth saving." She squeezed my hand. That's what love does, Joe, it rebuilds, even when everything else burns down. And in that quiet moment, I finally understood what peace really felt like. Not revenge. Not justice. Just peace. It had been 2 years since the wedding. 2 years of quiet mornings, late-night laughter, and a kind of peace I never thought I'd earn. Sophie's art studio had grown, my business had stabilized, and life finally felt normal. Until my phone rang that evening. The name on the screen froze me, Lena. For a moment, I thought about ignoring it. Then curiosity, or maybe closure, made me swipe the screen. Hello? Her voice cracked through the line. So, it's true. I stayed silent. I see your pictures everywhere, she continued. You married my sister. You ruined me. I took a slow breath. Lena. Don't say my name like that, she snapped. You think you're better than me now? I didn't say that. But you think it, she said bitterly. You're living your perfect little life while she laughed, a dry, hollow sound. I'm divorced. Jobless. Everyone turned their back on me. I lost everything. I pressed my fingers against my temple. Lena, you didn't lose everything because of me. Oh, come on, she spat. You were supposed to be my husband. You should have fought for me. You should have. Saved you? I cut in. I did. Over and over. But you never wanted saving, you wanted control. Don't you dare make this my fault, she said sharply. You married my sister, Joseph. My sister. I married the woman who didn't lie to me, I said quietly. The one who didn't betray me in my own home. The silence that followed was heavy, like something dying on the other end of the line. You think I haven't paid enough, she whispered finally. You think I haven't suffered? I think suffering doesn't erase what you did, I replied. It just shows you finally understand what it feels like. She sniffled, voice trembling. I loved you, Joe. I really did. I closed my eyes. You loved yourself more. I was lost, she murmured. I made mistakes. But you. I moved on, I said. That's all. You sound proud. No, I said softly. I sound tired. She let out a shaky laugh. Do you ever miss me? The question hit harder than I expected. I thought about the early days, the laughter, the nights we believed we were invincible. Then I remembered the lies, the smell of betrayal on her skin, the message that shattered everything. No, I said finally. I miss who I thought you were. There was a long pause, then a whisper. I hate her, you know. Sophie. She took you from me. She didn't take anything, I said. You gave it away. God, you sound so calm, she said bitterly. You always were. That's what made me crazy. Lena, I said quietly, you called me for a reason. What do you want? I don't know, she muttered. Maybe I wanted to hear your voice. Maybe I wanted you to feel guilty. Then I'm sorry, I said, but I don't. You're heartless. No, I said. I just stopped bleeding. She was silent for a long time. Then came a soft, defeated whisper. So that's it? That's it, I said. You ruined yourself, Lena. I just stopped saving you. The line clicked dead. I set the phone down and stared at it for a long while. There was no satisfaction, no rush of triumph, just a strange, heavy quiet. The kind that follows a storm long overdue. A few minutes later, I heard the door open. Sophie walked in, her hair tied up, smelling like turpentine and lavender. She wrapped her arms around me from behind. You okay? She asked. I nodded slowly. She called. Sophie didn't ask who. She already knew. What did she want? Closure, maybe. Or someone to blame. And what did you give her? The truth, I said. She kissed my shoulder. You did what you had to do. I turned to face her. Why doesn't it feel good? Because revenge never does, she said softly. It just stops the bleeding. I looked into her eyes, clear, grounded, full of everything I'd spent years searching for. Then what is this? Survival, she whispered. And survival becomes peace when you stop looking back. I let out a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. Maybe she was right. Maybe peace wasn't something you found, it was something you built, one painful truth at a time. As the night settled in, I picked up my phone, deleted Lena's number, and finally, for the first time, felt free. It was late afternoon when the email came. The subject line read, "Just a few words." I hesitated before opening it, knowing the sender before I even looked. Lena. For a moment, I just stared at the name. My finger hovered over the mouse, a familiar ache pressing against my chest. I clicked. "I hope you're happy," the message began. "I wish I hadn't thrown everything away. No excuses. No venom. Just sorrow, quiet, raw, almost human again." I read it twice. Then a third time. The words didn't sting, they just echoed somewhere far away, like a sound from another life. Sophie's voice called from the kitchen. "Joe? You okay?" "Yeah," I said, my eyes still fixed on the screen. "Just checking some old mail." She walked in, drying her hands with a towel. "Old mail or old ghosts?" I smiled faintly. "Maybe both." She glanced at the laptop. "Her?" I nodded. "Yeah. Just an email." "What did she say?" "That she hopes I'm happy. That she wishes she hadn't thrown everything away." Sophie studied my face for a moment. "And how does that make you feel?" I leaned back in my chair, staring at the message again. "Honestly? I don't know. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't please me either. It's just, sad." She came closer, resting her hand on my shoulder. "Maybe that's what peace feels like." "Maybe," I said quietly. "It feels strange, though. Like the end of a song you once loved but can't even hum anymore." Sophie gave a small smile. "Then let it fade." "I already did," I whispered. "This is just the echo." She squeezed my shoulder gently and walked away, humming something soft. I watched her go, realizing how different the sound of peace was from the noise of chaos Lena used to bring. I looked back at the screen one last time. "I hope you're happy." I was. Not in the loud, reckless way happiness once looked, but in the quiet, steady way it should have always been. I hovered over the trash icon. "Goodbye, Lena," I murmured, and pressed delete. The email vanished. Just pixels gone from a screen, but it felt heavier than that. Like a chapter closing, not with anger, but acceptance. I shut the laptop and walked toward the balcony. The evening air was cool, carrying the faint scent of rain. The city stretched out beneath me, lights flickering, people moving, life continuing. Sophie's laughter drifted from inside. It grounded me, the sound of something real, untainted, alive. I leaned against the railing, watching the world breathe. For a long time, I'd believed betrayal had ruined me. That love had been a trap, that trust was weakness. But now, standing there, I saw it differently. Betrayal hadn't broken me, it had refined me. It taught me what love should never be, manipulation dressed as passion, control disguised as care. It taught me that real love doesn't demand sacrifice, it grows beside it. I thought about Lena's message again. Maybe she really meant those words. Maybe regret had finally caught up with her. But that wasn't mine to carry anymore. "Joe?" Sophie called softly. "Dinner's ready." "I'm coming," I said, turning one last time toward the skyline. For years, that view had reminded me of loss, of everything that had fallen apart. But tonight, it felt different. It wasn't about what I'd lost anymore. It was about what I'd found: clarity, strength, peace. As I stepped back inside, I realized something simple yet profound: my heart wasn't heavy anymore. It was free. It happened by accident. I was at a tech conference in Chicago, giving a keynote about resilience in startups, funny, considering how much of mine came from heartbreak. After my talk, I walked into the networking lounge, grabbed a coffee, and heard a voice behind me. "Joseph Miller?" I turned around. For a second, I didn't recognize him. The man looked older, heavier, worn down. Then I saw it, the flicker of arrogance that used to define him. "Ethan." He gave me a weak smile. "Didn't think I'd see you here." I smiled back. "Neither did I. You look different." "Life's been busy," he muttered, eyes darting away. "The company folded last year. Divorce too. You know how it goes." I nodded slowly. "Rough ride, huh?" He chuckled, but it sounded hollow. "Guess you could say that." I reached out, shook his hand firmly. "Good seeing you, Ethan. Take care." He hesitated, like he wanted to say more, but instead just nodded and walked away. Watching him go, I felt no anger, no triumph, just a strange calm, like the universe had quietly balanced itself. Later that night, I sat on the hotel balcony with Sophie. The city lights shimmered below us, and the sky burned orange from the setting sun. She sipped her wine and looked at me. "You're quiet tonight. Everything okay?" "Yeah," I said, leaning back. "Ran into someone I used to know." She raised a brow. "Who?" "Ethan." Her glass froze midair. "That Ethan?" "Yeah. Looks like karma finally caught up with him." She sighed. "How'd it feel, seeing him?" I thought for a moment. Strange. I thought I'd feel satisfaction, maybe even a little revenge. But I didn't. He just looked tired. Like life already did the job for me. Sophie smiled faintly. "That's how it works sometimes. You don't have to lift a finger. The world just sorts itself out." I nodded, watching the sun melt into the horizon. "Yeah. I think I finally understand that." We sat there in silence for a while, the air warm and still. Somewhere below, music played faintly from a rooftop bar. It reminded me of New York, of nights when Lena would vanish into crowds and lies. The memory used to sting. Now it was just a shadow passing by. Sophie broke the silence. "Do you ever regret it? Any of it?" I turned to her. "Regret what?" "The past. Leaving her. Everything that came after." I stared at the fading light. "No. Pain gave me purpose. It forced me to rebuild. It taught me what real love feels like, what peace actually is. Without it, I'd still be chasing something empty." She reached over, placed her hand on mine. "You really have changed." I smiled. "So have you. You taught me how to stop bleeding from old wounds." She laughed softly. "And you taught me that healing doesn't mean forgetting, it means forgiving life for what it took." The wind picked up gently, brushing through her hair. She leaned her head on my shoulder, and for a long time, neither of us spoke. The world felt quiet, balanced, still. I thought of Ethan again, his empty laugh, the bitterness in his eyes, and of Lena, somewhere out there, maybe staring at her own sunset. None of it hurt anymore. None of it mattered. Because for the first time, I wasn't defined by what I'd lost. I was defined by what I'd learned. As the last trace of sunlight disappeared, I whispered to myself, in the end, karma didn't need my help. I smiled, closing my eyes against the breeze. It just needed time.